The story is about how suffering can be shaken off. In China, there was an elderly woman, Jiang, in Chuxi County, poor, and her son was thankless. Scolded, she felt uneasy, and visited a monk. The monk advised, "You know you are suffering, so why not just shake it off?" He explained, "Meditate and chant Namo Amitabha Buddha. You can be reborn in the pure land of bliss. The Buddha will guide you, and you will find peace and happiness." She replied, "How can we chant in such a mess?" The monk said, "You are suffering, so shake it off." The woman asked, "How do I shake it off?" The monk replied, "Meditate, chant Namo Amitabha Buddha, and be reborn in the pure land of bliss. Near death, Buddha will take you to the pure land, freeing you from suffering to peace." The elderly woman said, "My son and I live with a bed, stove, and pig. How can we chant Buddha's name in this mess?" The monk reassured her, "Keep chanting. Visit the temple when you can." As she was nearing death, the Buddha would come to take her to the pure land of bliss in the west, and she would shake off all her suffering and receive only peace and happiness. The elderly woman said, "My son and I live in a house with a bed, a stove, and a pig under the bed. How can we chant the name of the Buddha in such a messy situation?" The monk replied, "It's okay, just keep chanting and come to the temple to pay respects to the Buddha whenever you have time." After that, the elderly woman followed the teaching, seeking to end her suffering, and she never stopped chanting Namo Amitabha Buddha. The monk said, "It's okay, keep chanting." After that, the elderly woman followed the teaching. She told her son, "I will be reborn in the West. Stay home and handle my funeral." Her son didn't believe her. After that, the elderly woman followed the teachings, seeking to end her suffering, and she never stopped chanting Namo Amitabha Buddha. 3 years later, 2 or 3 months before she passed away, she told her son, "Mother will be reborn in the western direction on this day of the month. You shouldn't go out. Take care of my funeral as a sign of your gratitude." Her son didn't believe her and continued to doubt her words. 3 years later, 2 or 3 months before she passed away, she told her son, "Mother will be reborn in the western direction on this day of the month. You shouldn't go out. Take care of my funeral as a sign of your gratitude." Her son didn't believe her. After talking for a while, you still don't believe it. A few days before she passed away, her son smelled something strange and searched everywhere, knowing where it was coming from. It was at that moment that he believed his mother was telling the truth. On that day, he stayed home and saw his mother bathing, changing clothes, and sitting in prayer until she passed away. Look at this elderly woman. Her family was poor, and her son was stubborn and ungrateful. Her life in old age became very difficult, but because of her own suffering, she sought to end her pain and relied on the power of the Buddha, Amitabha, which ultimately helped her overcome her suffering. Thanks to the information from Aram Buddha Thai, Wat Sawang Aram.